Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Sanders, and this is Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. Today, what I want to do is that I want to talk about watches in the three different collector groups we talked about. We talked about the beginner, we talked about intermediate, and we talked about advanced. Now, as we went up, so did the prices as we get more experience. And so, what I did for each one of these groups, I'm trying to find the best deal on one. This isn't necessarily the cheapest watch, but it's not. They're not very expensive, and so when I talk about them, I want to talk about them either as this is the MSRP. This is something that you can get from one of the discount places. A lot of different things like that. So let's get started because we got a lot to do today. Now, the first one for beginners, the two watches I want to start with is one's an office watch and one's a sports watch. A great little office watch is the Nomos Club 38, reference 735. The reason I think so is that it's interesting. It has what's called the California dials, Arabic numbers on the top, Roman numerals on the bottom. It's an interesting watch. And at $16.50, you get what I would consider a real watch, all right, for a great price. Now, the one next to it is a sports watch, the Seiko 5, and this one, this particular one here, was $76.37. Now, I got the more expensive one here on my wrist. This was, I think, $95 or something like that. For a sports watch, for a real sports watch, and by a real sports watch, I mean something you can do anything with, and it'll, what do they say, take a beating and keep on ticking. Now, the next two groups is the dress watch and the GMT. For the dress watch, I like the Christopher Ward C5 Malvern 595. This has got a Peizu 7001, which is a 3 hertz, 21,600 vibrations per hour, $700. It's a nice little watch. It is very plain. That's what you want in a dress watch. You want nice, clean lines, and I think the Christopher Ward here, C5 Malvern 595, does a job. I don't know if they're still making this model anymore. That's one of the things you got to check. On some of these, you have to go to a secondary market to find them. Now, the GMT, the one that I found here that I like, this is the Hamilton Jazzmaster Traveler GMT. This is a nice little watch. It has an ETA 2893-2 in it. Now, remember, Hamilton is owned by Swatch, and so by one reasoning, that would be an in-house movement. This is priced at, and again, I have the actual prices that were advertised. This one is 1,195 Swiss francs, which is about the same in dollars. Now, this next watch is a chronograph. And what I do is, chronographs are really popular watches, and so I had two different ones. The first one on the left is Steinhardt Marine Officer Beige Chronograph. Now, that one looks like it was worn by a prisoner in a POW camp, but it wasn't. This is a Steinhardt. Thing I like about Steinhardt, you know what you're getting when you buy a Steinhardt. They tell you exactly the movement that's in it. And this particular one, and the Marine Officer Beige Chronograph, the price on it is 747 euro. Now, if you go to the Steinhardt site, what you'll see is that they have it with VAT and without VAT. Really, very, very honest place, I think, or company to do business with. They're not the greatest watches, but they're not bad either. The other chronograph is one I just sort of like. I thought, well, this is a pretty good price. It's a little specialer too. It's called the Longines Avigation Big Eye, and I just liked it. It was 2625, which I know is getting a little higher up there, but not crazy high. This won a Grand Prix award too. So that's another one, something a little more special and something that you might want to consider. Now, the next two watches are the retrograde and the annual calendar. And this is where we enter into the intermediate level. And here, this is where your watches start going up in price. And so you have to really start looking, all right? The one on the left, the retrograde, is a Maurice Lacroix masterpiece calendar retrograde manual wine men's watch. This is sort of a mouthful. Now, there's this place called Shopworn, and Shopworn is a place I like to take a look at, see what they've got. And these are watches that were simply sat around in a store and never sold. And so you get a really good price. I think this one was, I forget what they have advertised it. I think it was like 15,000 or something like that. Still brand new. This one is 34.25 at Shopworn. It was a heck of a good deal, but no, that's still $3,400 is not cheap, but it's not crazy expensive that you might find in some other retrogrades. The annual calendar, again, these can get very expensive, as we saw in the first part when we looked at them. And for a good buy on one, I like this Longines Master Collection annual calendar. This was $24.25, and sort of the best price that I could find online was $1,400. So if you look around, you can find some really good buys. Now, the $24.25 is Longines MSRP price, so $1,400 was the best deal I could find online for this particular watch. Now, these next two, these sort of overlap. First of all, for a world timer, the Mont Blanc Star World Time. Now, this is in 2011, this won the Petite Aiguille Award. And it's called the Mont Blanc Star World Time GMT Automatic. The price, $21.95. This I found at Joma Shop. And I think originally this was about $5,000 something like that. But it looks like a real good buy, and plus it also won a Grand Prix award, so that's really something. Now the next one is for an intermediate level at a good price. Is a prize winner that won a prize, and that's all I had to do. This particular one won the sports prize back in 2016. And this is called the Eberhardt and Company Scapholograph 300. Its list price is $4,070. The best deal I could find on this was $2,169. So it's also, for a sports watch, it's a pretty good deal, I think. And this is the one with a metal bracelet too. All right, now this next one's is something that I wanted to add in sort of a strange way. All right, this is another kind of world timer, but they're different, and they're also very much collector kinds of watches. First of all, the one on the left is called City Timer by Antoine Prezuzio. This watch is you set up a time zone, and you have the outer ring, I guess you'd call it, and then at 6 o'clock you have a subdial, and that would be your second time. The big reason behind this, Antoine Prezuzio is an independent, very well regarded watchmaker, and so I like independence. There's something that's called the Académie Horloger des Créateurs Indépendants, or the AHCI. The very best independents are a part of this group, are part of AHCI. So that's something you might want to do. And you can find some really great watches by really great watchmakers if you sort of go in through what you might call a back door. You go in, you take a look and see who's a part of that, and then go out and find watches that they have, and so you end up with something really special. The other one is by Daniel Roth, Metropolitan World Time. This one this particular model ranges between 3,500 and 7,000. There are two different models. One model will have a W and S on the left side, and that's for winter and summer, and it's for the daylight saving times on the watch. And you put in two times, one at the top and one at the bottom. And so one is your here time, and the other one's your way time. But the big thing, Daniel Roth is one of these incredible watchmakers, greatly respected by other watchmakers too. So it's something I think that you might want to take a look at, finding, by the watchmaker, not just the watch. One of the things I've always thought that would be great for intermediate watchmaker is to have one by an independent watchmaker. Now, we just looked at two, but here's one that I think is especially special. An independent watchmaker there are a lot of them, but there are certain ones that are really special, and I think that the Harboring 2 is. This is Richard and Marie Harboring have this little company in Austria. And these watches, I went online to take a look, and there weren't any. I think there were four, but they're very hard to find. They're not hard to find if you order them through one of the outlets that they have for them, but they only make a few hundred, if that, a year. And Richard Harboring used to work at, I think, IWC, and then he decided to start his own company. Before he left IWC, though, he created a Doppel for them that they're still using today. Here's my Felix. This is Felix Harboring 2 Caliber A11. This is for Austria. It was created in 2011. That's for the A11. The price is $5,200. I think I saw one that was for sale, and it was for more than that. Okay, moving right along. This next area, we get into the advanced, and as hard as I tried, it was almost impossible to find a watch that fit a lot of these categories. So bear with me on this, okay? The first one is a Tourbillon, and fortunately, there are so many watch companies that have Tourbillon. Tourbillon is sort of like a watchmaker's trial, I'll put it that way. Now, there's this company in Hong Kong called Perpetual, and I wanted to have a regulator, okay? Just because I thought a regulator would be nice. Now, the one I wanted originally was a $40,000 one by Laurent Ferrier. And it was, at the beginning, $40,000. I didn't have $40,000 to buy it, so I got this one for $200 by this company called Perpetual. Well, they also have tourbillons, so I thought, well, I'll go see how much their tourbillons are. Their tourbillons. This is a picture of one of their tourbillons, and it's $1,100. Now, a lot of people say, "Oh, well, it couldn't be very good." Well, they probably said the same thing about my $200 regulator, and it's doing just fine. So, anyway. That is one affordable way. I'm not a big, crazy about tourbillons, but, if I got one, I'd probably get one of these. Now, the Aiguille d'Or is the highest prize. That's the grand prize in the Grand Prix d'Or de Genève. And the prices there of the ones who are the winners are just crazy high. Now, what I found that was possible is this Breguet Classique chronometry. Now, this was, I think it was 2017 or 2018, right around there is when it won the Aiguille d'Or. And it was listed as prices of 39,000 Swiss francs, which is for an aiguille d'or is great, but again, out of most people's range. And I found one for $19,000 that was pre-owned market. This is really an amazing watch, but like I said, these things are extremely expensive. Now, these next two watches are both of them were just crazy expensive. First of all, the Résonance, something happened within the last year or so, and the FP Journe Chronomètre Résonance disappeared. All right, they just whoop. I went to went looking for them. I found two of them, and the cheapest one was 135,000, and the other one is one of those call-us, which means like it's too expensive. So what I did is that I happened to have one, and it wasn't anywhere near that price when I got it. I got it about 5 years ago. I got a great buy on it, and it just sort of went through the roof on the price and the availability. Some people, that's important. To me, it's not. If it had gone down to zero, I wouldn't care. It's a good watch. It's a watch that I wanted. It's a function that I wanted, so I'm a happy camper. Now, another one I want is Remontoir d'Égalité. The one I like the Optimum by FP Journe, and I like this Grönfeld 1941 Remontoir. 49,500 euro. I tell you, if you can find a better buy on a Remontoir d'Égalité, let me know. I had thought that the Jaeger-LeCoultre True Second had a Remontoir that clicked the second hand, but I was wrong. So, okay, these next two, the minute repeater and the only watch. Now, these two are, well, minute repeaters for some reason are just crazy expensive, and I've never cared for them, not because they're not neat watches, but rather I have a hearing loss, and so it doesn't do me much good. And the best price I could find on one was this IWC Portuguese minute repeater, 41,000 bucks pre-owned. That's not bargain by any chance. Another watch that it's almost impossible to find a good deal on is the only watch. Now, this is a biannual auction that they have to raise money. I think the money goes to is either some medical thing or something. I'm not sure what it is, but they raise a lot of money. And having an only watch means that's the only watch like that. Now, this particular one, the last one they had was in 2019. This Maurice Lacroix Icon Mercury was finally sold for 17,000 Swiss francs. And, it's a neat watch. It really is. They were expecting it to bring between 5,000 and 10,000 Swiss francs, and it topped that. But some of these other ones are crazy. I think the Patek Philippe they had was 31 million that it sold for. So the only watch, next year, I think it's in November sometime in 2021, they'll have another one. So, if this is something you'd really like to have, you might find some watch that is not as popular that you might be able to get. Okay, this final watch is a perpetual calendar. This is another kind of watch that's fairly expensive. And the one I like is the one by H. Moser, but I can't afford it. And so I went looking for another one that was pretty good. And I found this Frederick Constant manufactured perpetual calendar. They use the word manufacture a lot because Frederick Constant do make their own movements. So they always have too. What they tried to do is that they tried to make a better deal with something, so they use gold plating, and a lot of people, just that sort of a deal breaker right there. I'm one of them. So anyway, but still, I wish they had this in stainless steel, then that would be great. but still for a minute repeater, I'm sorry, for a perpetual calendar, $87.95, not bad. I don't know what the used price is or how available they are, but I'm sure that they're much better deals. Okay, well, this has been sort of a long one today, and if you have some idea saying, look, I know, what about this watch? How come you didn't say this watch? That's fine. Just don't say, I can't believe it. A lot of people use that. Anyway, believe it. Let me know some ideas that you have, okay? Because I say, hey, here's a great deal and here's a great deal. Let me know. I'm interested. And I'm sure other subscribers are just as interested. And which, by the way, this is an invitation to subscribe if you'd like. Till next time, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Outside, the Art and Science of Watch Collection.